Education, Laurie Kilmartin.
Well, Jacqueline.
Well. I am tell the tale. I want to hear everything that happened with the terrible, weird OC thing.
Okay, so before I even start, let me just say I don't want to demonize the restaurant, even though they it was
made
a
the
demonic
decision?
situation. But
Didn't
I
they
mean,
make the decision, or
yeah, but you know, the real problem is the federal government isn't paying restaurants to shut down, right? And they're not, the real problem is they're not freezing rent and mortgage and everything and just shutting everything down. So
okay? So leadership from the top down
just
is a fail.
yes. So in context, keep in mind that everyone is like, when the fuck can I make money? Right? All these people that have venues, restaurants, all that kind of stuff. Yes, you. I'm just talking. It's separate from comics. I'm talking about people that own clubs, right? Or own venues that hold comedy. When can we make money, right? So I know that there are clubs that are open in New York, and people are angry, and I'm not. You know, I wouldn't work in an indoor room right now, but I'm not angry at people who have been given
when you get
no
to the
money.
actual story, come back. I'm just gonna go close a curtain. I'll be right back.
I don't like you, and I never have.
Episode title.
Jackie, you know, I come to the podcast prepared, okay? Things are shut, lights are turned on or off.
I was told that my
mic
mic was a little hot. That's what, and I thought, well, I have these weird orange curtains. Why don't I close them? Because they're supposed to be buffers for the audio. And isn't it much nicer now?
It is.
You are actually, there's a cast of red all over you, though.
I'm a glow. It's
okay.
Probably a hot flash. Go.
So I have a gig, right? And it's outdoor patio gig. I'm fine. That's all. I don't ask any more questions. That's enough for me. I never say no to spots. I love all spots. I love all sets,
anyone
right?
who's been following the show knows I was like, I wasn't surprised you said no, but I was surprised that you didn't cut yourself and, I don't know, drive into the ocean slowly for having had to say no to this.
So I get there, and the restaurant they have a nice seating area out front. There's a couple people in it, but it's not packed, right? And I didn't even go inside the restaurant. I brought my son with me. They had food, so I'm like, I'm gonna do a set. We'll get some food. We'll get out. And I emailed the booker's also a comic, and I'm not cast. You know, this person's like, hey, let's do a show here, and then the restaurant's changes their mind about how they do it, right? So they're not in a good place, right? But you know, he said, well, they're going to do it indoors, and I immediately said, well, I'm not doing it.
That picture you sent of how people were seated looked like 2018. It was a full restaurant.
I said no before he even peeked in. I said I'm just not walking in, and they had just had a Trump rally down there, Laguna Niguel. It's the part of the OC that is super Republican, asshole, you know, wife beaters, Trump flags, etc. That part of SoCal, okay?
Great. It's the shitty part of Long Island.
Right. It's people that don't follow precautions 24 hours a day, and now they're in an indoor venue, and I'm supposed to entertain them, right?
Yeah.
So I said no right off the bat, and I said, would she reconsider having it out here? It's not that cold. It really wasn't. They have outdoor heaters, and they had a nice setup. You know, you just don't have to ask the audience to move outside. And apparently the audience, didn't feel like COVID was a problem, and they didn't want to go outside. That was was what I was hearing. Okay. So I said, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do the show. And but we did order ribs, so we waited for the ribs. Yes, they were coming outside. And so as you know, there's another comic on the show. Besides the MC. So I said, you know, he's like, I understand, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So I said, you know, you could do what you want.
And
But
did that person do the show?
they did, yeah. I said, but look at that audience in there. Do they give a fuck about you? I don't think they do. And if they're pointed at you and they don't have masks on and they're seated within 1 foot of each other and they're aiming their laughs at you, they don't give a fuck about you. So don't go long.
Right. Don't be psyched that you also get my 15.
But and also I don't think it was like the greatest crowd anyway. When I kind of looked in, it was like one of those things you just get through,
Yeah.
maybe get a
it's
few
like
laughs, whatever.
Right. You might be able to get some timing done, but
Yeah, you get a little work done or
I
something.
like that comic a great deal. I
do too. I mean,
makes me
I
want to
think
find him other work.
I think people, are like, well, I guess, and it's just if I'm in there 15 minutes is enough if there's an asymptomatic person in there.
Did
You know what I
see
mean?
the article in the University of Andrew Solomson sent me this link. It's the University of Georgia has a live the hell is it? It's in real time you can see the risk.
Oh,
It's
right.
LA,
Yeah.
The LA Times
It's an
article.
app. Yeah. Yes, I
Yeah.
have seen that. Yeah.
And so it's just it's peer reviewed. So it's called the COVID-19 Risk Assessment Planning Tool. And it's out by Georgia Tech. And so I was looking at several key areas.
Right.
Loveland, Colorado, Milwaukee,
where you're gonna be.
Wisconsin,
Right.
Minnesota. And they're all over 50%.
You mean 50% chance that you will be exposed to COVID if you're in a room with somebody? Or
With 50 or more people, yeah.
Oh, 50 or more. Okay.
Yeah, I have to look at the chart again, but it was you could put in like the number of people
Right.
that were in the venue, and then the likelihood. There was something like if you were anywhere, the Los Angeles one was a 10% of getting it whenever you're anywhere.
Jesus.
If I read that correctly, and I was like, I don't like those odds, but today I woke up. Grateful for what I've got and happy that I live indoors, but and I have food and shelter and
Yeah,
all the things, right? But
right.
literally hating that we don't know when this is over.
I know.
Just too mad about it.
How bad is it going to be by the time Biden and Harris take over? If it just keeps,
they're just fanning the flames and just trying to make it worse. And, but if you think about it,
it's going to keep going exponentially. So how bad is it going to be by by January 21st,
Right. He's going to try to burn it down as much as possible so that 1 million people will die.
I believe that too.
Before the United States will get a hold of it. But if we had 4 more years of Trump, it would have been 4 million people.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know if that's anything. Is that
so? It is speculation on something that's not going to occur. If you don't have 4 more years,
that.
Right?
Yeah, but I'm in the tiniest hope. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes. So anyway, I tweeted about that. Like when I left, I took a picture and I was like, I'm glad I didn't go in there because it just, there were too many people unmasked and, it just was not a good scene, right?
Makes
it's not
you
even
wanna
like they
wipe
weren't
down.
even, they weren't even 6 feet apart or plexiglass or all that shit that comedy clubs are trying to do, right? It was just everyone was mashed together. And I was just like, oh, I guess this is legal in the OC. I don't know what they're doing in this fucking county. Okay.
Last weekend, I was last week. We went up to Exeter and we got sandwiches to go at this place in downtown Exeter, California. And since they put plexiglass things in between the tables, I think I might have told you this. It's like they think it's freaking magic. And it doesn't make any sense.
You know what? It doesn't really help, but it sure looks a lot better than what I saw when I left that little restaurant, right?
I did an outdoor show.
Well, let me just finish this.
Oh, yeah. Please. Sorry about that.
Because we have plenty to talk about, right?
Oh, yeah.
So then I tweeted and then whatever, and I didn't call out the name of the restaurant or anyone associated with it because I don't think that's the problem.
No, and you're spending a good portion of your time making sure that the blame goes to the highest.
Go push it up, right? Um, but then the Orange County Register, somebody texted me or emailed me and like, well, I can't believe it. This, can you tell us? And they want to do an article about, performers under the gun and all that stuff. And I just passed because I'm not a venue cop, right? And I don't want to be part of all that. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't go inside and perform. And
Right.
other people can make that choice or not. And it's a really dumb choice to make it though.
And do you regret not getting that publicity?
No, I'd like to not be the COVID comic, right?
Yeah.
Because the other thing, someone had said to me last night, they're like, I understand because of your mom. No, it's not because of my mom. If anything, I'm a little more relaxed because the worst that could have happened happened. My mom got it and she died. I don't have to worry about it. You have to worry about it. Other people with old parents have to worry about it, not me. So if anything, I'm a little more like, well, the worst has happened to my family, so I don't care that much, right? I mean, I do care, but that's what
making you.
No, but that's how I have to pull myself back. I'm not, it already happened to me.
Right.
So I'm good. You guys are the ones that hasn't happened to. You guys should be fucking scared shitless, not me. You have to be extra cautious because I don't personally want to get COVID for myriad reasons. So I'm doing what I can to not get it, right? Yeah. But your grandparents, you're on your own there.
Well, and the weird thing was someone saying it's because of your mom. You're like, no, I'm sane. That's why.
Yes.
It's not because of my. Thanks for reminding me about my mom. I know it's sad. Anyway, but in extra news, stop it. Yeah, you're just an adult human being who has a sense of
who reads the full article, I guess.
Well, don't go that.
But I mean, even if you get it,
paragraphs and then just pretend.
Again, I've said this before, but look up long-term COVID and look at the side effects to people that have it. It's awful. And if you're a comic, it can make you forget words. It can make you forget stuff. It can damage your health to the point where you won't be able to get back on the road and tour again, even if everything opens up again,
See, that's what they should have said. I know as a comic, you don't want to get COVID.
Exactly.
Not just as a person.
Yeah. So, and then someone else who does outdoor shows was, walked me through the permit process, which sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
To do it. And so the pop-up shows are a little, the other thing is this shit shouldn't be illegal. Like I did did we both do the same one? No, we did different outdoor shows where this one is being called a protest because that's what you have to call it. Otherwise you can't do comedy there. Right. So, and it's just the stupid shit of like, can we just admit stand-up comedy is a business? People like it. So come up with rules for it that make sense. Don't make people cheat, because when you start cheating things that are stupid, then you start cheating things that aren't stupid. Like, I don't need to wear a mask.
Well, the thing is, and this has been proven for 60,000 years, is if there is a rule or a law, if someone says, oh, well, I don't believe in that law, and they don't act, and then instead of changing the law, if you just act as if because you don't believe in that law, what other laws are you that's exactly what you said.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, congratulations, you now live in anarchy. Because if I don't believe in that law, then you don't believe in this law, then it's madness. It's fucking chaos.
Yes. I mean, if people are going to be outside speaking and the audience or people watching are 6 feet apart, they're masked, all that kind of stuff.
I saw Kira's show.
Let it be legal.
There was a pool in between. Did you see that picture of her?
No,
Kira was she was standing. She was there, and then
it was at her house.
It was at somebody's house. We don't know who. And then there were several, like 3 or 4 two-tops.
That's what I want to do here.
That's what you want to do there.
Yeah.
And so I saw that. That looked okay. I'm doing the Grove on Friday.
Oh, cool.
I don't know who books that. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm going to show up and look at it.
Yeah.
So that'll be something. But I wanted to do that thing down in the OC because he said the food was really good.
The food is really good. But the COVID is bad. But I mean, maybe because I left, maybe they'll
Yeah.
go back to doing outdoor shows, or maybe they won't. I'm sure they'll find comics that are willing to do indoor shows. So I would just say it's not worth it.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's, and then I did the Flappers Drive Up,
Oh, how'd it go?
which they just got the rights to do that.
Yeah.
And well, they got someone taking your temperature, and then they do have a little they told me when I drove in, there's a little green room, outside green room thing next
Yeah.
to and there's a coffee pot. So they've got a coffee pot, so I'm very excited. that they had
It seems like
coffee.
they put a backdrop up, right? And
Right, they did a Flappers backdrop, and they did photos, but they didn't do photos like Tammy Joe did, where everybody kind of posed.
oh yeah,
They
right.
just captured the photos they captured. They filmed it like Flappers does with everything. I assume hoping one of us dies, and then they have rare footage of a comic that never made it. But it had so much potential.
How
Anyway,
many clubs hope the comics die? I bet about 50%.
of the 100% of the ones who film. And,
It's true.
and then, and Kylie was there. Kylie had. Have you heard his tiger penis joke?
I don't think so.
Oh my God! It was so not a Brian Kylie joke. It was so beautiful, and he was like, "I was filthy," and I said, "And yet not." Brian Kylie, and I don't know. I mean, it's not that he couldn't write filthy, but he just didn't. And so
Everyone's got a dick joke in them. I firmly believe, no matter who you are.
everyone's got a dick in him. Wait,
What?
everyone's got a
Jackie.
dick in him. That was me going riffing.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy who I just typed did not have his mask on.
That doesn't surprise me.
Really? Let's.
Well, okay, so outdoors, I had the same thing, right? I did
But 2 feet from me?
I know. There was the same thing that happened to me at a different outdoor show. It was this person.
Lean in. Let me know. Let's hear it.
Uh,
Not a shock, right?
yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't feel comfortable. I was backing away from this guy when he was talking to me. And it reminded me of being in clubs in the 90s when people were smoking, and someone would pull out a cigarette and I'd start like, oh fuck.
He's a real
Not
close
this.
talker too.
Yeah, and so I'd just start moving back further and further from the person, and I wouldn't really hang out that much because I still want to be around smoke,
Right.
So it felt like that.
Yeah, Flip Schultz had his on, but did you know that Flip has moved to Florida, and he got himself a work in on this thing, but he's been doing regular stand up at clubs all over Florida for months.
Wow.
And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, everything's just open." And I'm like,
Wow.
huh. Then what are you doing taking somebody else's set? I would like a longer set. No, I did not say that.
Damn. Well, you just did say it. It's going out on the podcast, Jackie.
That's it. Edit. No. Beep. No, it's all good. It's no, I'm just busting his chops. He had a friend with him who I think he must be staying with because they
Yeah.
were they looked like they were in a pod. I don't know if it was a romantic pod, but it was a pod where they got to stand close enough to each other. But I asked if she was a comic, and she's not. But she was in the
Okay.
green room, and I was like, I hope she's a comic because I think I was the only woman on that show, which is a bit of a drag.
How many comics were there?
5 or 6.
It's not terrible.
It's par for the course, so it's not anything.
Yeah.
It's just not anything new. But it was like a 22-year-old guy hosting. Pretty new, and then a bunch of the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
Kylie was great though.
Yeah, he's great. I don't feel comfortable outside around someone without a mask, right?
Yeah, no, I don't. I was backing up from him like I was being cornered in a hallway at a comedy
Right.
club in the
Right.
90s.
Yeah.
So I was
Did
like,
he know why? Did he pick up on why?
no, No, I
So
doubt it.
here's the thing: you sit down, you're the only one not wearing a mask. Everyone else is masked, and you don't think to yourself, what
Yeah.
should I
Why
put
is
one on
everybody
too?
back in their chair up?
Yeah.
Why is, why is,
Am I being rude right now?
yeah, Kylie was
Do you
like,
ever ask yourself that?
he
I
said,
mean,
are you just going? And I said, and I looked at the guy and I said, yeah, I'm just going home. And he was like, I get it. I get it.
yeah,
But I did get Kylie's cell phone number so I could text him about things and be snarky. It was fun.
that's good.
That was fun for me.
Um, yeah, you know, I, I just hope, I don't know.
I don't know
We
either.
don't know that much about this disease, We know a little bit more than we did in March, but
It's because the rest of the world has been putting in overtime trying to figure out this disease.
yeah.
The United States has not led the way.
When the vaccine becomes more available, when do you think they're kind of saying everyone would have access to it by spring, so that's March or April. Do you think?
Right, that's
Do you think we're back? People are back on the road in June, maybe?
Yeah.
But or I guess in Florida they haven't closed at all. Jesus.
Yeah. I was shocked. And then I was, what did somebody, it might have been Joseph Scrimshaw tweeted the other day. He said, I would like to be shocked at something I didn't then next think, oh, that seems right. And he's just like, I'm shocked. And then I'm not, he'd like to be shocked at something that he's also surprised at.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
sucks
that'd
too
be
is
great.
there's so little local news now that that you can't just stick a newspaper on something and go, hey, who's getting, are any comedy clubs super spreader events in Florida? Like who's getting sick from gigs? I mean, there's a
Right, are they
comic.
tracking? Yeah.
Yeah, this person, I don't know if this is, I mean, he kind of said it in my replies on Twitter,
Okay.
but I'm not sure it's out, he'd want it. I'm
Yeah.
just his name.
Oh, right.
But yes, he was on the road last week, or maybe it's like 2 weeks now, and he was super careful. But then he did one show in one room that was just, a
Too
lot of
close?
people in it, too close, hot, sweaty, and he got COVID from it, and so now he's dealing with that. Hopefully
Yep.
it'll be a mild case, but you don't
Yeah.
know till you have it if you're one of the lucky ones that gets a mild version.
Right. My niece, who's in the National Guard in Montana, she got a clear test, but she still has a cough, and they told her she has to go back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
And she tests people for COVID.
Yeah.
That's her job for the National Guard in Montana.
Wow.
And
I think everyone has COVID in Montana, from what I've read. So she could probably just mark it 100% and stay home.
Right. Yeah, I don't. I literally, that's the thing. The not knowing, of course. It reminds me, of course, of March, of when
Yeah.
we didn't know, and I worked at being patient and living in the moment and being just, knowing that I'm not a scientist, knowing that I'm not any of these things. I just have to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it feels exactly like that, like it's a terrible dream, where I have to go back to square one and go, remember, you are not in charge. You can't tell what they're going to close or cancel, or if they're going to cancel all flights by December 2nd. I mean, and I don't think they will, because that would be a federal thing, and Knobjob will not do anything federally to slow the spread.
No, he won't. And JetBlue just opened up their middle seats, so the airlines are back in business.
God.
The whole country is dark red, and the airlines are back in business.
Yeah. Oh, I literally, I used so many points for first class the whole trip.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I might have to get one of those plastic face shields too, because I've got masks, and I'll change masks in between airports, and I'll drop trow and change clothes and wash clothes as soon as I get anywhere. But man, it's real dumb out here.
Yeah, it really is.
And but what else? Andy wanted the most comfort food ever, which is this thing I make every 3 years because it is literally 2 pounds of cheese, a stick of butter,
Oh my God.
3 cups of whole milk, and it's mac and cheese. It's just cheese and it's just and then some croutons that have been pan fried in butter. So I mean, literally yesterday I didn't exercise. I've been going for these long walks in an effort to not drive myself to take the edge off a little bit as well. And yesterday I was like, instead of any of that, and I also get this, I made an entire turkey. So
Wow.
yesterday I spent the day mostly eating and sleeping. Tryptophan, and because Andy's he doesn't hate turkey, but it's not his favorite. And I fucking love turkey and I love Thanksgiving, and whenever we do it, sometimes he's like, well, maybe we'll have ham, and I'm like, fuck ham.
Yeah. Well, we always do Thanksgiving with the family, like the extended cousins and stuff, and so that's off this year. I don't know what to do for Thanksgiving. What?
You could Zoom it.
Yeah.
Didn't the last Zoom, wasn't the last Zoom a memorial?
Yeah, it was a funeral.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: I have shows in the Bay Area on Friday and Saturday, Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, do you?
So I'm not gonna fly, right? I'm gonna drive, but I don't want to drive because I have to. The first night's in Sonoma. That's like way up in
one-nighters.
Sonoma and Santa Rosa, yeah. They're not too far from each other.
No, they're not too far from each other. Are they outdoor one-nighters? I assume?
Outdoors, yeah. So
God,
here's
I'm
the thing.
Fucking jealous.
Yeah, I know. But do I drive on Friday? Drive all day on Friday and then do a show?
Yeah.
Old me would have been like, yeah, fuck yeah, man.
No, but if you drive,
and now I actually am old. I don't know that I was.
But if you go early, if you leave at 6 or 7, you get there super early. You take the afternoon, the good road nap.
Leave at 6 in the morning?
Yeah.
On Friday?
Yeah.
Ugh. I was thinking of leaving Thanksgiving night, getting a hotel room like midway up, and then...
We are different people. I forget that you're willing to drive at night. I don't like to drive at night. I'd rather drive kind of early in the day and then take the good nap. But and that's what I'd recommend. But that is more my thing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, even when I was driving to this gig last night, I was like, I haven't driven at night in a while. You really do have to pay attention a lot more. Okay. It is a little tiring.
Yeah.
Well, I still have to mull it over then. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Oh my God. If my whole...
If I went did 4 hours on Thanksgiving night, I'd probably get to close to Santa Cruz, stay someplace in Santa Cruz overnight. But then am I exposing myself to another night of staying in a hotel, which is, potential COVID.
If you can stay in one hotel, that'd be better.
I agree.
And if you could also email me again who books those, because I have FOMO-cation over here.
Yes.
And I don't know what I'm gonna. I mean, literally, and we're back to me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. If I got a call the other day from 800 Pound Gorilla, and I was like, oh, they're saying that they don't want to record because of the blow up. And it was not that. It was just Dan checking in. Hey, does everyone talk to all the different people? And I'm like, yeah, to my knowledge. Ryan is talking to Brandon. These are all people's names.
Yes.
Thanks for
what is Jackie talking
stack
about?
of names without any information. But all the tech people are talking to all the other tech people and all the club people.
That's important.
It is important, and I think that that there's I don't want to cancel this thing, but I'm scared, if that makes any sense.
I am too.
And I need to run the long set in front of actual people. When I did that set in front of the cars, First of all, I couldn't see the light. I didn't know where the light was coming from. And so at one point, the cameraman in front of me who was working it, and I assume pushing it to zoom, I said, does that seem, I'm just going to do this last bit and then get the hell out. And, yeah, today I tried 2 new bits at the Zoom show. That Zoom show was super fun today.
Yeah, it was. I really do keep to my time, Jackie. I think I did 2 minutes.
Oh, you literally 2 to 3 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah.
you were. But let's talk about the Zoom show after we do a break.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can also do Comic of the Week. And we could also do a commercial.
Should we do Function of Beauty?
Yeah.
Yeah, Function of Beauty. Talk it up.
Okay, so I'll read the ad copy.
Sure.
So do I read the intro first and then ad copy?
Here's the thing about Function of Beauty. One size fits all is not a phrase that should describe your beauty routine. Each of us is unique, and Function of Beauty gets that. So, right?
Yes. Well, here's the thing, Jackie.
Yes.
First, you're going crazy pell-mell into it, Jackie. First, you have to take a quick but thorough quiz and tell them a little bit about your hair goals.
It's like 4 questions.
Yes, you can even choose the color and fragrance you prefer. Now, you know I love my eucalyptus, and I get it in teal. Next, Function of Beauty's team determines the right blend of ingredients, then bottles your custom formula to order. Then they deliver your personalized formula right to your door. And Function of Beauty now offers a new skincare line. It's the same quality and customization you expect now for your skincare routine. So my suggestion is listeners, go to functionofbeauty.com/Jackie Laurie. Take your quiz, save 20% on your first hair care order. Go to functionofbeauty.com/Jackie Laurie. Let them know you heard about it from our show and get 20% off your hair care order.
And that's the first order. So order big. Get a big, get a big 20%
What's
off
that
first.
promo again? I forgot.
Oh, it's functionofbeauty.com/Jackie Laurie.
Thanks.
Functionofbeauty.com/Jackie Laurie.
Jackie, just the idea of my hair falling out because of COVID makes me want to run and wash it with Function of Beauty shampoo.
I'm thinking of having all my teeth removed and then just have fangs put in. I don't know.
Do you know, did I tell you that my mother's, all of her teeth were removed when she was in her late 20s?
No.
This is like these things are popping up from my memories, and I don't know who the fuck this dentist was, but I can't imagine
what year
having
was it? In her late 20s.
early 60s,
Okay.
right?
Can I tell you that my mother, who is passed away, also had all of her teeth removed in the 60s?
What the fuck?
I don't know if there was.
What were they doing to women?
Well,
I mean, what? I've never heard that happen to a man that didn't need it. Because I look at pictures of my mom from her wedding. Her teeth look fine. Yeah. And they took every fucking tooth out and gave her dentures for the rest of her life. I'm when I think about, like, she was so used to it, I think she wasn't angry, but yeah. I'm still enraged. And now your mom too? That's shocking.
It is shocking. I don't even know what the hell it meant. But I don't know why. You know, I mean, there's jokes to be made, and I won't make them. But
no, these are our mothers we're talking about. But it's them seeing women. Oh, they don't need their teeth. They're married, right? You know,
right, they're already married. Why do they need their teeth?
Yeah, they have nothing else that they'll ever do in their lives, and they'll be fine with dentures. And
so
I
weird.
get how much per tooth. I mean, it reminds me. It's a lesser thing of the gynecologist that's doing hysterectomies on immigrants in a way where do these women even know why?
Right, there's so much sterilization in hysterectomies and C-sections, and it's always been with women, as far as I can tell, just the easiest thing for the guy doing the job.
Yes.
He's like, I could give you 3 root canals, or I could just pull all your teeth. You won't have to worry about it ever again.
Yeah, so they'll match. Maybe that was it. Maybe one tooth had to be addressed, and they're like, let's take them all out, put some dentures in. Was that a fucking thing, though? That's
I don't
crazy.
know.
That happened to both of our mothers.
Yeah, that is but
Fuck.
of an age. So insane.
God damn.
Hey,
But
let's
I
do
mean,
comic.
psychologically, that's got to fuck with you all the time, right?
Yeah.
Being self-conscious about your teeth, and if you know, I mean, if you look at older people that have dentures, they're constantly having to worry about them not slipping out, right? Whenever Pelosi talks or Biden talks, and Trump too. It's to have that when you're in your late 20s for your entire youth. Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't yeah. My dad just got dentures I think about 3 or 4 years ago, and he wanted to get implants. And my brother Russ is like, I'm not paying for implants. He's going to live like what, another 6 months? And I was like, he's 79. He's like, I know how old he is.
Well,
Anyway.
you know what? I think at that age, the bone might be too frail to do implants. You know?
Okay. Yeah, could be.
Jesus.
I know. Let's do comic of the week before we forget.
Okay.
And it's fun because I just worked a Zoom with her. I watched one of her Zooms. It's Kim Evey. Evey. Kim.
Yay.
Evey.
The tape you sent me was really funny.
Yeah. It was funny because she's adopted, but she also does jokes about adopting. And they're fun. I met her on Joko cruise when I did the Jonathan Colton cruise.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, her husband does a talk show on the cruise every year, and she does stand up, and so that's how we met there, and it was super fun.
Cool.
She's very funny. At
Evie or EY?
EY.
Okay.
EY. So there you go. Comic of the week.
Yay.
And I'm doing a show after this. I have one more set tonight, and it's a political show. I'm doing it with Helen Hong. You do 3 to 5 minutes about politics, and then you panel about real topics. And I was like, oh, you're doing that thing that you were told not to do, which is ask comics their opinions about things they may not have all the information about. But okay, let's I guess I mean, if you ask me, I'll tell you my opinion.
One thing I loved about Tough Crowd is there was the first thing that everyone acknowledged is that most of the comics didn't know what the fuck they were talking about, you know? And
Right.
so funny was the number one thing, right? Like every once in a while Greg Giraldo would drop a real fact, but it was a lot of comics riffing off half of the information and doing like a funny chunk that actually, you know, would not pass a fact check. But everyone just sort of was like, all right, let's fuck it, let's just have fun. And Colin was there to sort of narrate and keep everyone, you know, in line a little bit. But I miss that because I think now everyone acts like they're an expert on stuff like that, you know, because we all feel like because we're on Twitter all the time when we really don't know that much. And I miss the old days
headlines.
when we all sort of admitted we were ill-informed.
They didn't hammer it home enough for me on Colin, on Tough Crowd. They didn't make it clear that Patrice really only just had personal experience. And a valid experience, and yet would not hold up under scrutiny. So,
right. He got hammered pretty hard, and Voss especially, and Keith Robinson.
Oh my God,
too.
Voss.
Yeah.
You remember when was it Lisa Lampanelli said to him, something about his teeth and how I like that you're pretending that you're not 50 years old or something. It was some brutal. It was freaking brutal, man. I was like,
She's out of comedy.
She's out of comedy. She was, my favorite, and this, I hope she's not listening because how could you possibly care?
Yeah.
But my favorite was her riffing.
Yeah.
It was not the stand-up. It was the stand-up was hit and miss for me. That could be said of me. That could be said of everyone, of course. But I thought she was incredibly quick and clever, and it could be mean, and it could be, it wasn't always kind. It wasn't ever kind, but it was sometimes it was smart enough to pass muster anyways, and I loved those. Those were my favorite.
Yes, it's interesting how. I mean, she's out of stand-up, but I don't think her act would work. Like culture just changed really quickly.
I think she quit just in time not to be questioned for her It was super. It was mean, and it was lower common denominator, and only men are allowed to continue to do that. Only men can do that now.
Hacky racism.
Yeah,
that worked for a long time. That's what stand-up was for like the first 50 years.
That's a niche. That's a niche that's only available to receding hairlines right
now. Yeah. Well,
that was a bit of a slam towards receding hairlines. I take it back, gentlemen. Your hairline has nothing to do with me.
But Jackie, in this red glow, you look like a very sultry prostitute in Amsterdam. I'll tell you that.
Well, the red light is on. It's a Sting song, isn't it? There. And it's a song I only know from Moulin Rouge. How sad is that?
Never saw it.
Wow, we're different people.
We are.
My
son is almost 6 feet tall.
I know. I saw that picture of the two of you facing away.
I know that's nothing for Kyle. He was probably.
I'm proud of him.
6'4".
I'm 6'6".
How tall were you when you were 14?
I was 6 feet by 13.
But 14, you must have been.
I was probably 6'2" by 14, 15, right in there. Oh yeah, I had a ways to go.
Wow.
I probably hit it by 16. I stopped growing.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. And then you just grew as a person. It's so
but I would again like to shout out a reverse shout out to the radiologist who told me when my son was 11 and 5'4" that he was done growing, and that sent me down going to endocrinologists and all this kind of stuff. Total waste of time.
I remember that overreaction.
Right? Yeah. Oh my God.
You just admitted that it was one. How come me agreeing is somehow the devil?
I reacted appropriately to bad information of somebody saying your son is done growing when he's 11. That was incorrect intel. But I didn't know that.
Right. It's almost all of my brothers are like 5'3". No, that's not true. I like to imply that though. That's fun for me. What else? Oh, I want to talk about the Zoom show. We could do that for a minute. Mm-hmm. And it's because it was. I had so many great plans for my set for that show.
This afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I just kept booking more and more comics. And I was like, do you really want to make these people sit through 40 minutes of your set after watching everyone else do really funny 10s? And but it was a really fun show. I was psyched.
Yeah, it was a great lineup. You, Maria, Tiff Stevenson, calling in from London.
Right, with a
Carmen.
glass of wine in the dark.
Oh my God.
I might turn a light on. What the heck?
I did my set and then I hit the pool because that was my only window of opportunity before I did Doug Loves Movies.
Oh, okay. When's that coming out?
Tonight. Oh, now you're in a bright white light. The vagina is shut down, fellas. She's not selling it anymore tonight.
Right. I'll make it more romantic if that's. And probably more just graying.
What is that red and black cubed artwork behind you?
Oh, wait. Are you talking about the brown and orange?
It looks like red and black to me, but is it brown and orange?
It's brown and orange. It was supposed to be soundproofing.
Okay.
And they're too thin. I didn't want it to be that ugly foam stuff. So I went with this, and it doesn't work.
Well, you only have 2 squares up, don't you? Have to.
No, I've got them all over they're all over.
I see.
Each wall, one wall has 16 of them, and then there's 2 there, 2 there, 2 here. In an effort to try to kind of buffer it up, but I think I'm just gonna have to get real. Only if I want decent sound, but I think I'm gonna have to get real spongy things or whatever.
Oh, that stuff looks bad.
So.
And it just feels like people wipe their nose on it all the time, you know? You know, they touch it with their hands and what's on their hands, and now it's just, because you can't clean that stuff, you know?
Oh, okay.
So
I'll follow you there. That it's not anything. And if anybody is touching it, and people like to touch spongy things, it could
They
get
do,
gross.
right? Touch
Yeah.
their nose right to the wall.
Yeah.
Trust me, Jackie, it happens just like the Murphy bed murders
Oh my God.
that I
the
talked
Murphy
about
bed
last week.
murders. That is so funny. Please write that book, The Murphy. And so Maria's shooting something in Van Nuys this week.
Mm-hmm.
This upcoming week. So she had to go 3 times to Van Nuys this week for COVID testing and costuming. By the way, if you're in costuming, we can all hear you. If you're talking about my body and how annoying it is that I'm not a size 2, please stop.
Did that happen to you?
Well, it's happened to me though. The times that I've had to deal with people. My favorite one was a woman who said, "Finally, someone who knows what underwear to wear." And
what? That's what I always say about you. You always wear the right underpants for every occasion.
it's well, they want you to wear Spanx, and I had just bought Spanx, and it was for Last Comic Standing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stop and do another Max Fun break in the middle of my sentence.
Okay.
Okay, and then but I wanted, I was looking for my Last Comic Standing sets on VHS.
Mm-hmm.
So I got all those sets digitized. And the only one I've put up so far is the first set, the Comedy on the Road one, where I'm wearing that suit coat.
Yes, that's great. Let me tell you that if you put your Last Comic Standing stuff on YouTube, NBC will find it.
No, I know it was hidden on MySpace for decades, and for hundreds of years, and then MySpace decided that they didn't want to store everybody's stuff about 1.5 years ago, and claimed a server fail, and lost it. And so I was like, well, I know I have those. I know I have either the 3/4 inch or the VHS around here, and so I had everything digitized. The first thing I checked for that the guy had digitized, a VHS of me taping an episode of Will and Grace. I was like,
were you on Will and Grace?
No, it was just a VHS that, remember when we recorded things to watch later on VCRs?
Sure, yeah.
Clearly that fell into the mix, and that guy diligently, without any problem with copyright, digitized it. But what was? Yep.
Oh no, I have my Last Comic Standing. I have it hidden on a different video platform because if I put it on YouTube, they immediately take it down. Right. Even if you don't put Last Comic Standing in the comments, even if you were just to put, Running of the Bulls, so they can tell from digital information of the video that it's
right.
Their stuff.
Everything's implanted and everything.
Yeah.
And so be it. It's But if I had the Last Comic Standings, I could clip it into bits, and then they wouldn't see it, because if I have them at, 1:14, I can put them on IGTV, or if they're under a minute, I can put them on Twitter. And I have my Twitter to delete all of my Twitter content every month.
Really?
So I have to. It's a bot. Amy Miller found it.
Interesting.
It's nice. But I do have to rebuild my pinned tweet every 35 days.
Right.
But I noticed that it's been deleted. And but I think if I had that digitized, I could clip it into bits and put it up, and I don't think they would notice, because other bits are up and other people haven't noticed. But the other thing that I have is me on the list. And I feel just so sad about that anyone would have ever had me on a music panel talk show. And I had to pick, and I remember picking these songs, and I thought it was funnier than it was. It's actually sadder than it was, because one of the songs I picked was Indian Reservation by Paul Revere and the Raiders, and Henry Rollins almost got up and punched me in the face because it was such a lame song.
I'm sorry, but I have to take Henry's side on this one.
Sorry, Jackie.
Because
I
he's
have
attractive.
to take Henry's side. The only person that was decent on that show was Adam Goldberg, and but that was fun. And then I have my premium blend, and
Jim Brewer
was hosting it, and he could not have been more coked up. He couldn't have been
Ooh.
more. Holy
Ooh.
shit, was he twitchy? He was like a hummingbird, and then it's an
How was
exciting.
your set?
Oh, uh, uh,
Did you tape it in LA?
yeah,
Oh, the LA one sucked.
yeah, yeah.
In fact, I was like maybe gonna do the LA one, and they went with somebody else who kind of looked like me in a quick comedy.
You gonna
Wait,
type that?
yes.
Please do.
I don't think you know her.
I don't know.
And then I heard everyone bombed because they were at UCLA and they sucked.
Oh yeah, I
The
don't know.
audience sucked. Yeah, she's gone. She left comedy. And then I got it next year when we went to John Jay College, which is fucking awesome. Great
Where's
crowds.
that?
Everyone murdered in New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there was a giant hamburger behind me, and then there was a large staircase that they didn't tell any of us that we were going to be walking down a large staircase. So here's the entire drama of that set for me is when I watch it. Oh, am I going to fall? 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 And even though I know that I don't fall, whenever I watch it, I think that I'm going to fall. It's pretty bad. And but that's the next one to be cut up and made into clips so I can put it on IGTV.
Cool.
Kind of interesting watching that old set from '93 because they were jokes from the '80s. You know, all your TV sets are jokes that you've been doing at least 5 or 6 years.
Sure.
Or at least they were for me, possibly because I'm never on TV. And second of all, because those are the ones that are done.
Right.
So these were jokes from, 85, 87.
Yeah.
So in 93. And it's interesting, though, because they aren't terrible jokes. They're the same. They're almost the same structure as the material I write now. They are a little loosey-goosey as far as not enough punchlines.
Yeah.
And not as tight as I would do them now. But it was kind of fascinating to watch this. I was like, oh. And then I have that weird hair and that weird jacket. I'm a caricature in my brother's rolled up suit coat. And then I had one, that was my corporate outfit in 93. So whenever I had a corporate, I had this black bodysuit, this fake like rhinestone necklace, and then dress like black dress pants, and then this suit coat. And I was like, yeah, that isn't particularly dressy, Jackie. You still look like a clown. And
I didn't have any corporates in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
But I think the Midwest had a lot more corporate gigs, it feels like. You know?
Probably. And that corporate
in the Bay Area, Don McMillan did every single corporate gig. As well he should. You can't top a former engineer doing comedy for engineers. It's just surrender.
Sure. It's didn't he do PowerPoint before PowerPoint was cool?
Yeah, he's been ahead of it for a long time.
Like his technology was light years ahead of everybody else as far as making people feel like they were still at work but they were laughing. That's the key to corporates.
Yes. Did you ever do Girls Night Out?
No.
Oh.
No. I did the foot one with the shoes.
Foot one? Oh, yeah. Jeff Singer booked it, right?
Yeah, something about they kept showing women's feet. It was very weird.
It was very Jeff Singer. No.
He loves feet.
It was something about heels, right? The title was like heels or
bitches in heels. That ain't right.
No, it was just Oh, I forget. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
That's where I did a show with Heather Snow. Former comic of the week who passed away from cancer a couple years ago, but she was like up and coming, like mid-20s and really funny. And
I have a picture of her in my phone, and whenever I'm kind of scrolling through, because I did Denver, and she was in the green room, and it was her and her boyfriend. She was real ill, but I was opening for Maria at some theater, and she came. And I was like, and every time I see it, I'm like, look at that kid.
Yeah,
and she was pretty young. She was super
very young.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know.
This week, what do you got this week?
This week I've got so people have been asked. I have 4. I have 3 more Dork Forests in the can, and so I haven't been recording any. I'm like, no, I'm fine for weeks, and then I decided to book everybody who asked me. So I'm recording 7 episodes of the Dork Forest this week.
Oh my God.
It's dumb.
No,
It's
Jackie.
not right.
No.
But I'm hoping to knock them out. But all it means is that 7 more people will want to talk to me about, how much they love A4 paper or some fucking thing. And I love that A4 paper episode, by the way. That was Jim Coughlin, loved A4 paper. That's the size of paper. You know how we use 8.5 by 11 goes in the machines? Every other country in the world uses the size A4. And yes, yawn. You're right to yawn.
I yawned
Except
and
for the
I
fact that
burped.
Jim Coughlin made it interesting.
Okay.
I freaking love Jim Coughlin, man. He's such
very
a
funny. I love him too.
one-liner guy who brings it.
Okay, so I had to get a COVID test this morning for a stand-up show I'm doing on Tuesday.
What?
So yeah, I'm doing this show for Team Coco,
And you perform alone in a room to iPads that are like all over the wall. So
Yeah. Like Zoom.
it's a Zoom thing, but you're in an
Life-size.
enclosed space.
Yeah.
So I've just been watching various comics, and they pushed it out to Instagram. So I've just been watching people's sets. My only fear right now is being in airspace that somebody else was just open talking in. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, they're not. They're not.
There's no one in the room with you when you do your set. No one
You
physically
guys are
in the
going
room.
back to back to back.
Yeah, I think so. So I think I'm going to bring my air purifier and try to run it.
If it feels necessary before my set in that space, or I might wear a mask during my set.
Right.
I mean, I just have to look at who's in the space before me and go, does this person seem like they're
crapshoot. You're just like
asymptomatic?
little roulette.
I mean, because we're all getting tested this week, but that doesn't, if you get it on Monday or Tuesday, then who, as
Did
you said
see
earlier, who
Erin
cares?
Jackson is filming something and she got a positive. And so they made her take something like 5 more tests, and then the next 3 tests were negative. And then they just did 2 more just for the hell of it, and they were also negative. So she got a false positive.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was that. And but so where are you shooting that in the Valley somewhere?
I don't know. I'll look
Okay.
on Tuesday, 5
But
minutes
it's
before I
not
have
an
to
NB
leave.
It's not a TBS like Warner Brothers.
No. It's it's some weirdo, just some little studio out here, and it's a tiny.
I've been
space,
trying
I
to
think.
get my set from when I did with Greg Barrett and Chris Titus. I've been trying to get that set, so because they mix the audio of the audience.
That sounds fun.
It sounds, because here's the thing, the audience is real, so I'm getting real feedback, but there's only 15 people there, so they mix the audio to make it sound like there's more people. Is that cheating?
Dude, it's show business. All of show business is cheating. It's all one big fucking cheat. If you're telling good jokes and people are laughing and they're just going to make it sound a little better, they're not making the jokes funnier. They're not putting in new words, right?
And they're not laugh tracks from the 1950s.
Yeah, no. Don't worry about it. It's that you do your set and then you let the engineers take over and make it sound great, right?
Okay.
That's
All
what
right.
I think.
That's what I think you're right. Okay. And Mike something Field, god dang it, Michigan comic working for 800 Pound Gorilla. He's going to be doing the recording at Acme.
Oh, cool.
And then Dan Dion's going to come in, and he's going to be there. Like, I'm going to run it on Wednesday. We're going to start recording on Thursday. And we're going to record Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, but we don't know if we're going to have second shows on Friday and Saturday because Minneapolis reinstated their 10 p.m. curfew for bars.
Oh.
So I don't know, unless I want to do a 6 p.m. show and an 8:30 show.
I was just going to say, could you do an early, but do you think people would show up for 6 p.m.?
Maybe. I mean, why wouldn't they? 'Cause
I bet they would. Yeah.
they got nothing else to. It's still dark. It's dark now.
Right.
It's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. How are their shows going? Are they making money and stuff like that? Are they doing okay? Do you know?
I have not asked Lewis if he's making money.
Breaking
I
even?
doubt he's making money, but if he's staying open, then he's staying open because the clubs are closing. There's a bunch of clubs that closed this week.
For good or just?
Yeah, Creek and Cave closed.
Oh yes, right.
One other closed. I can't remember.
I think I saw Improv Boston closed. I think I saw an RIP for that. Is that what you were talking about? I wasn't sure if that was an improv space though, so I wasn't sure if I should feel sad or joyful.